Battle of the Brains, presented by Invest 529. Central Virginia's high school academic quiz show. Today's match features Maggie Walker Governor School versus L.C. Byrd High School. Let's play.
Hello and welcome to Battle of the Brains. I'm Cheryl Miller. This is Central Virginia's longest running high school academic quiz show. Our teams are playing for a combined scholarship of $20,000, courtesy of Invest 529 and the E.W. Scripps Foundation. The final four teams will each get a share, the winning school receiving $10,000 at the end of the season. Our competition welcomes teams from schools all across the Commonwealth of Virginia. The academic athletes joining us today, the Green Dragons of Maggie Walker Governor School, coached by Adam Rachi and Drew Austin. The Maggie Walker Governor School for Government and International Studies is a public regional magnet high school in Richmond. Its college preparatory curriculum has the city school recognized as one of the most elite public schools in America. Also with us today, the Skyhawks of L.C. Byrd High School, coached by Mark Cullip and Shane Malenko. This public high school is part of the Chesterfield County School District. L.C. Byrd is home to the Governor's Academy of Engineering Studies. A big welcome and great to have all these students here with us today playing Battle of the Brains. Our match consists of 3 toss-up rounds and a category round. Players will buzz in to answer a question, waiting for me to call on them before giving their answer. Any interruption of questions with an incorrect answer will result in a point deduction. There's no deduction for an incorrect answer to a completed question. All right, students, let's go with the first toss-up round. How many colors can the human eye perceive in the visible spectrum of light? Brendan.
7.
Correct. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. What is the first name of the United States' 44th president's wife? Brendan.
Michelle Obama.
That is correct. Barack Obama, the 44th president. What southeastern state was the first to commercially grow peanuts? Brendan.
Georgia.
That is incorrect. L.C. Byrd. Henry?
Alabama.
It was actually Virginia. About 1/3 of the Federalist Papers was written by which U.S. president? Brendan.
James Madison.
Correct, often called the father of the Constitution. Which NBA team plays its home games in Boston? Kartikia.
The Celtics.
Correct. In crystals, this word names defects caused by extra planes of atoms. In geology, it's the distance between two sides of a fault. What is this 11-letter word that also describes a situation in which a bone moves out of position? Henry.
Dislocation.
Correct. He came to power after being adopted by Antonius Pius. Name this last of Rome's 5 good emperors, a Stoic who wrote the Meditations. Brendan.
Marcus Aurelius.
Correct. You may need your pencil and paper for this one. Simplify the following. 1 2/5 plus 15 3/5. Layden.
Can you repeat the question, please?
I can. Simplify the following. 1 2/5 plus 15 3/5. And you must answer, Layden.
17.
That is correct.
Very nice.
About 1/4 of its more than 40,000 species are decapods, named for their 5 pairs of locomotive appendages. They typically have 2 pairs of antennae and, like all arthropods, have exoskeletons. Name this subphylum whose members include shrimp and lobsters. Brendan.
Crustaceans.
Correct.
Nice.
Defined as a constant before a variable, spell coefficient. Kartikia.
Coefficient.
That is correct. As of October 2024, Emmanuel Macron is the president of which country?
France.
Kartikia.
France.
That is correct. What is the only form of precipitation to appear in the form of a crystal? Henry.
Snow.
Correct. Electric current is measured in what units? Kartikia.
Amps.
That is correct. All right, teams, watch and listen carefully. Turn your attention to the monitors for a video question from the Battle of the Brains Brainy Bunch, and you must wait until the question is asked completely before buzzing in.
What type of country music was solidified by the artists Waylon Jennings, Jesse Coulter, and Willie Nelson?
Katie.
Bluegrass?
That is incorrect. L.C. Byrd? Spencer?
Country.
It's actually called outlaw music. He was among those who survived the tragic 2005 tidal wave in Sri Lanka, having moved there in 1965. Named this science fiction author who in 1968 released his book 2001: A Space Odyssey. Layden.
Clark.
Arthur C. Clarke is correct. What is the term for a philosophical view that events do not occur by chance but are caused by preceding events? Spencer.
Determinism.
That is correct, or predestination. What Tony Award-winning musical features songs by the Swedish group ABBA, including the hit song Katie?
Mamma Mia.
Correct, Dancing Queen. It is the lowest form of heating liquids on a stovetop. Often cooking directions say to bring to a boil, then reduce heat and what? Spencer?
Simmer.
Simmer is correct. And that buzzer means the end of our first toss-up round. We've got a lot more questions to come. Up next, we'll introduce you to today's players, and then they'll take on the category round when Battle of the Brains continues.
Miss a week of Battle of the Brains? Want to catch up on the full season of play? Watch full episodes on our YouTube channel.
Welcome back to Battle of the Brains.
And here are the scores following the first toss-up round here on Battle of the Brains. We have a tie score. The Maggie Walker Governor School and the team from L.C. Byrd High School, both with 80 points. And we're going to get back to our match just ahead, but first we want to introduce you to today's players. First, our team from the Maggie Walker Governor School, the Green Dragons, are coached by Adam Rachi and Drew Austin. First up is Katie Watson, who is a senior, is a musician who plays the viola and trombone, hopes to double major in government and political theory in college. Next up is Bladen Kidd, who is a sophomore who enjoys painting, loves reading, and watching food reviews, says his favorite fruit is pineapple. Our team captain is David Linz, who is a junior who is a year-round swimmer, enjoys learning languages, especially German and Italian. And wrapping up our team is Brendan Stremler, who's a senior, is on Model UN, is the secretariat and president of the Latin Club. In his free time, Brendan enjoys hiking and playing board games. That's our team from the Maggie Walker Governor School. Now let's meet our team from L.C. Byrd. The Skyhawks are coached by Mark Cullip and Shane Malenko. First up is Henry Price. Henry is a senior. He's in the fishing club, marching band, enjoys speech and debate, and wants to become a pharmacist. Our team captain is Kartikia Goal, who is a senior, enjoys robotics, is on the rocketry team and the engineering academy. Spencer Lohr is a junior who studies and collects coins and money, loves dinosaurs, and his favorite book is Dune by Frank Herbert. And wrapping up our team is Lucy Casey, who is a junior, is involved in robotics, is a tutor at peer tutoring, and considering going into chemical engineering. That is our team from L.C. Byrd High School. And now it's time for our category round, where each team will select one 10-question category from today's choices. If the team gets all of its questions correct in the allotted time, they will receive a 20-point bonus. Teams, here are today's categories from which you may choose. They are Olympic sites, authors for children and young adults, and state quarters. And we do note that in this round, only the captains can officially answer for the team, though they may confer with their teammates to try to come up with the correct answer. By the rules, the high score team gets first choice of categories. Since we do have a tie, the team that got the last correct answer will go first in the category round. That is our team from L.C. Byrd High School. So Kartikia, talk it over with your teammates. Let me know what category you'd like to play. I need an answer, Kartikia.
Olympic sites.
All right, from the clues, give the city that hosted the Olympic Games in the indicated year. The first is 1896, the first of the modern Olympic Games.
Athens.
Correct. 1984 Summer Games, West Coast City.
Los Angeles.
Correct. 1996 Summer Games, East Coast, U.S.
Atlanta.
Correct. 1968 Summer Games, North America.
Canada.
That would be Mexico City. 1972 Summer Games, Europe, terrorist attacks on Israeli athletes.
France.
That would be Munich. 2008 Summer Games, Asia.
China. Beijing. Beijing.
Beijing is correct. 1992 Summer Games, Europe.
London.
That would be Barcelona. 2016 Summer Games, South America, Rio de Janeiro.
Brazil.
I'm sorry, I gave you the answer. 1980 Summer Games, Europe, U.S. boycotted.
Soviet Union.
Give a city.
That would be Moscow. We're asking for the city. Finally, 2000 Summer Games, Australia. And you may answer.
Sydney.
And that is correct. That'll make up for the one that I messed up. All right, Maggie Walker Governor's School, state quarters or authors for children and young adults.
I think 2 might be easy. Let's go. You want 3?
Three.
We have state quarters.
All right, on which state quarter will you find these images on the reverse? The first is an airplane and an astronaut.
Probably North Carolina. North Carolina?
That'll be Ohio.
Oh.
Old Man and the Mountain,
I'll know it. Kentucky. West Virginia?
New Hampshire. The words Crossroads of America along with a race car.
Race car. Indiana? Indiana?
Correct. A Spanish galleon and a space shuttle.
Florida.
Correct. New River Gorge Bridge.
Never heard of it. New Hampshire.
West Virginia. 2 maple trees.
Is that Vermont? I don't know.
Vermont, yeah.
Vermont?
Correct. Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery ships.
Virginia?
Yeah.
Virginia.
Correct. A peach.
Peach. Georgia.
Correct. A trumpet, fiddle, and guitar.
Tennessee?
That sounds right, yeah.
Tennessee?
Correct. And finally, a trumpet and a pelican.
Pelican. That's got to be Louisiana.
And that is correct. Good job on
Nice.
that. Good job by both of our teams in the category round. And up next, another toss-up round when Battle of the Brains continues.
Battle of the Brains is always available. Find full episodes on YouTube and follow Battle of the Brains on social media.
Welcome back to Battle of the Brains.
Here are the scores following the category round here on Battle of the Brains. Our team from the Maggie Walker Governor's School with 115 points. Our team from L.C. Bird High School with 100 points. And now it's back to Battle of the Brains and another toss-up round. And just a reminder to our teams, you do lose points if you interrupt a question with an incorrect answer. The other team then has the chance to answer. And again, no conferring in the toss-up rounds. Here we go. What synonyms starting with the letter P did Tolkien use for Oliphant and Milne use for heffalump?
Elephant.
That is well, no, that is incorrect. You're looking for the letter P. L.C. Bird?
Good answer.
Lucy? It's actually the pachyderm, which is a large, thick-skinned animal with elephants, rhinos, and hippos. What Grammy Award-winning Canadian singer came out of an illness-induced absence to sing at the 2024 Summer Olympics opening ceremony in Paris? Lucy?
Celine Dion.
Correct.
Yeah.
He was a sculptor on the island of Cyprus who fell in love with the statue of the beautiful woman he had created. Brendan?
Pygmalion.
Correct. It is a component of synthesis gas and binds hundreds of times more strongly than oxygen to hemoglobin. Name this colorless, Bladen.
Carbon monoxide.
That is correct. Odorless toxic gas. Diego Rivera, one of the 20th century's most celebrated muralists and a champion of socialist and communist causes, was a citizen of what Latin republic? Brendan.
Mexico.
Correct.
Nice.
In November 2012, President Obama became the first sitting U.S. president to visit this foreign country. Kartikia.
Cuba.
That is incorrect. I'll finish for Maggie Walker. Name this country whose capital city is Phnom Penh. Brendan.
Cambodia.
That is correct. All right, teams, watch the monitors for a video question from the Battle of the Brains Brainy Bunch, and you must wait until the question is asked completely before buzzing in.
The name translates from Greek as sacred wisdom. It is visible for miles across the Sea of Marmara. Name this mosque located in Istanbul.
Brendan.
Hagia Sophia.
That is correct.
Good.
Had plans been successful, he would have been killed at Kirkwood House. Instead, the next morning, Salmon P. Chase came to Kirkwood to administer the oath of office. Name this man who ascended to the presidency after the events at Ford's Theater in 1865. David.
Johnson.
Andrew Johnson is correct. What major musical scale contains the notes B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat? Katie.
A flat.
That is correct. A flat major. He was born in Alton, Illinois in 1926 and inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2006. Name the jazz trumpet player whose album Kind of Blue. David.
Davis.
Miles Davis is correct. It's the best-selling jazz instrumental album of all time. Norman Rockwell was an American artist who for 4 decades until 1963 painted 323 covers for what magazine? Katie.
Time.
That is incorrect. Elsie Bird. Spencer.
People.
It's actually Saturday Evening Post. Yosemite is one of the famous national parks in the United States. Spell Yosemite. Kartikia.
Yosemite.
That is correct. The 1974 Mariner 10 mission is the only spacecraft to have approached it. Name this planet with no satellites that lies closest to our sun. Brendan.
Mercury.
That is correct.
Nice.
How many animal birth years are there in the Chinese calendar? Katie.
7.
That is incorrect. Elsie Bird. Spencer.
12.
12 is correct. In which sport would a coach employ a full court press? Henry.
Basketball.
Correct. In a digital context, what is the term for when someone who was close to you suddenly cuts off all communication? Katie.
Ghosting.
That is correct. The absolute value of the trigonometric function of any angle is the same as that of its related angle, but the sign plus or minus of the function is determined by what? It's determined by its quadrant. And that buzzer means one more toss-up round to go, and we'll double the point value. Stay tuned to see which of our teams is today's winner here on Battle of the Brains.
Love Battle of the Brains? Ready for your high school team to play next season? Go to battleofthebrains.net to learn more.
Welcome back to Battle of the Brains.
Here are the scores as we head into the final round here on Battle of the Brains. Our team from the Maggie Walker Governor School with 215 points. Our team from Elsie Bird High School, 130 points. And for this final toss-up round, the point score for correct answer is now doubled, but so is the penalty for an incorrect answer given before I finish the question. There is no deduction for an incorrect answer to a completed question. All right, good luck, teams. This is our final toss-up round. Name the type of plant with naked seeds in contrast to the angiosperms. David.
Gynosperm?
Say again?
Gynosperm?
Yes.
That is correct. A disease carrier is also known by what directional math? Layden.
Vector.
Correct.
Nice.
This is the property that allows small bugs to walk on water. Henry.
Surface tension?
Correct. What is the name of the branch of philosophy that deals with the rules of correct reasoning? David.
Epistemology.
That is incorrect. Elsie Bird? Henry?
Altruism.
It's actually logic. One of the largest U.S. naval complexes can be found on the Elizabeth River in what southwestern Virginia city that was founded in 1682? Kartikia.
Norfolk.
That's correct. You may need your pencil and paper for this one. Add the following two numbers described together. The first prime number greater than 30 and the first prime number less than 125. Layden.
154.
That is incorrect. Elsie Bird? And time is up. The answer is 150. 31 and 119 were the numbers we were looking for. In 2002, this punk rock band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Name this band best known for songs Rock and Roll High School, I Wanna Be Sedated, and Blitzkrieg Bop. David.
U2.
That is incorrect. Elsie Bird? And that would be the Ramones.
I knew that.
Portrayed by Robert Shaw in the movie Jaws, the fictional character of Captain Quint was told to be one of the survivors of the sinking of what infamous U.S. Navy heavy cruiser? David.
The Arizona.
That is incorrect. Heavy cruiser in 1945. Elsie Bird? Henry?
Lusitania.
That would be the USS Indianapolis. In 2005, Britain's King Charles, then the Prince of Wales, married what longtime mistress girlfriend in a ceremony at Windsor Castle? Lucy.
Camilla.
More specific?
Currently she's Princess Camilla, I believe.
Judges? She's saying Princess Camilla. She just said Camilla. Do you want a full name, judges? We need the full name. We need the full name.
Her last name. Camilla Jones?
That is incorrect. Maggie Walker? Brendan?
Camilla Windsor.
That would be Camilla Parker Bowles.
Not a bad guess.
According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, what four-letter word is defined as an idea, behavior, style, or usage that spreads person to person within a culture? Brendan?
A meme.
Correct. In ballet, what term denotes a complete turn of the body performed? Layden?
Pirouette.
Correct, on one leg. Phoebe, Ross, and Rachel are fictional characters featured in which popular sitcom? Katie?
Friends?
That is correct. Patented in 1919, it looks roughly like a typewriter. It contained over 17,000 rings, settings for each of 60 possible wheel orders. Name this machine used by Nazi Germany to encipher. David?
Enigma machine.
That is correct. Encipher and decipher messages. What was the collective name given by journalists to singers Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and Dean Martin? Lucy?
The Brat Pack?
That is incorrect. During their Las Vegas heyday in the 1960s. Maggie Walker? Layden?
The Crooners?
They were actually the Rat Pack. The Brat Pack came after, along with Joey Bishop and Peter Lawford. In which of William Shakespeare's plays would you find the following quote? Cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war. Lucy?
Midsummer's Night's Dream?
That is incorrect. Maggie Walker? Brendan?
Julius Caesar.
That is correct.
Nice.
And that buzzer is the end of our toss-up round and the end of our game. While our judges double-check the final score, here's a reminder of how to stay connected with us here at Battle of the Brains.
Stay up to date on Battle of the Brains. Follow along as your favorite teams advance this season. Visit battleofthebrains.net to learn more and follow the show on social at Battle of the Brains. Join us next week on Battle of the Brains as we welcome students from St. Anne's Belfield playing against Fort Defiance.
And now here's the final score for today's match, determining which team will continue on in this season's competition and go on to the next round. Ending the match with a final score of 170 points, our team from L.C. Byrd High School. A great job today by Lucy, Spencer, Kartakia, and Henry. Our winners today, and going on to round 2 here on Battle of the Brains, our team from the Maggie Walker Governor's School. Great match today by Katie, Bladen, David, and Brendan. We will see you in the next round. I'm Cheryl Miller. Thank you so much for watching and playing along here on Battle of the Brains, and we'll see you back here next week. Great match, teams.
Game over. Thank you for watching Battle of the Brains. Presented by Invest 529. Goodbye.